State two non-renewable energy sources. Non-renewable are ones which will run out. So any fossil fuel, so coal, oil, natural gas, and even nuclear, although we do have plenty of uranium, it's not as risky as the other three. So renewable will be things like solar, tidal, hydroelectric, natural resources that won't run out. Not that these aren't natural, these are all natural as well. Next. Figure 5 shows the renewable energy sources used in the UK in 2015. Figure 5 is to scale. State the energy source that gave the greatest amount of renewable energy for the UK in 2015. So you're just reading this. So that's obviously bioenergy. Some people thought that was a trick question, I think, because it was so easy. Justify your choice of energy source in part 1. Because, why do we know that? Because it takes up the largest proportion of the pie chart. So largest area of pie chart. State which of these energy sources gave about 20% of the energy from renewable sources. So we're looking at something which is a fifth roughly, and that would obviously be wind. You can imagine that fitting into this about 5 times. So that would be wind. Figure 6 shows all the energy sources in Canada in 2014 and a prediction for 2040. So you can see there's been a shift in some of these, a slight shift. For example, a reduction in hydro wave and tidal by 2040. Discuss the effects of the environment on the environment of 2 predicted changes between 2040 and 2040. Now, there are a few questions which will get as much variation in student responses, but you could write so many things here that it's almost hard to give you a specific answer. So I'm going to give you an idea of the kind of things you could write. So an example of change, e.g., there's less uranium. So if you look at uranium, which is here, you can see that it's gone from 10% to 6%. What effect on the environment? Less radioactive waste, for example. You could have, for example, more biomass and solar. So if you look at biomass over here, and solar, that's gone up from 3 to 5%. So if we're using more renewable energy resources, we're going to reduce, for example, like solar or biomass, we're going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So solar, obviously there'll be no greenhouse gas emissions, but burning coal, oil and gas, they're fossil fuels, they release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and contribute to climate change, global warming and climate change. Figure 7 shows a wind turbine. You can see a rotor blade, gearbox, generator tower and so on. Explain how unwanted energy transfers could be reduced in the gearbox. So remember, we just want the gearbox to turn the rotor blade. Any other type of energy transfer would be inefficient. And you can imagine these gears rubbing against each other is going to lead to friction, which will create heat. So some of that energy will undoubtedly be transferred to heat and not all of it go towards spinning this wheel. So to reduce that, obviously we can use oil or lubricant to reduce friction. So we're explaining, we're saying what we're going to use and why we need to use it.